What's up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD mode leveling up podcast, where every single week I come to you delivering different tips, tactics, and strategies that I have personally done and have found massively impactful and valuable on my own personal leveling up journeys. So then that way they are hopefully helpful to you and help you go out there and kick more ass on your own leveling up journey, creating the success that you want to create. All right, so today I'm here to talk to you about removing the element of choice. And I know that this might sound a little funky because it's like at the end of the day, okay, well, we all have choices. We have free will. We have the decisions whether I want to do this thing or not do this thing, but the reality is this is on our success journeys, right? What is leveling up? Leveling up is, hey, I want to go out there and create success. I want to create more success. And eventually I want to go out there and maintain those levels of success that I've created during my own personal leveling up journey in any aspect of my life that is important to me. So as you are going out there and leveling up, as you are going out there and creating that success that you want to create, there is an element of choice that just becomes non-negotiable, that needs to be removed. There are just certain things that are required that you must execute on, that you must take action on. And again, learn to remove that element of choice. So then that way you become just systematic, you become disciplined, you're able to just execute on those non-negotiable things. And like all of my leveling up episodes and like all of the real estate tips or anything that I do here on the GSD Mode podcast, I don't like to just talk. I like to also provide tactical tips, strategies, and give frameworks and so forth. So then that way you can go out there and execute on these things. So I'm going to walk you through some exercises, or a core exercise, I should say, that's been really valuable and helpful for me. It's actually something I learned from Tony Robbins a lot of years ago on how I go out there and do this and identify what those non-negotiables are. But the first thing is to understand that there's this mental shift that needs to take place, that needs to go out there and happen, or at least I have found for me that there was this mental shift that needed to take place in order for me to go out there and again, continue leveling up, continuing to go out there and create the successes so I could go out there and create the life that I know that I want, that I know that I deserve, that I want to be able to just operate within, live, give my family, and all of that. But when I say that there's a mental shift that must take place, again, this mental shift comes down to just that understanding that if you want to go out there and create the success and or successes that you want to create, there are just certain things that are non-negotiable that you must learn to eliminate the element of choice. They either need to take place or they're not taking place. But if they don't take place, boom, you're not going to reach that level of success that you want to go out there and create. In my own personal journey, I have learned that like doing anything half-ass never has led me to anything powerful. It's never led me to, leveling up. I mean, half-ass effort gets us half-ass results, right? Any element of success that I've wanted to go out there and create has taken that full focus, full effort, full energy to go out there and execute and making that thing a reality. So there's too many people, a mistake that they make is that they think that they have this choice. They think that they have an element of choice. And again, I know that this is so funky, and I know that this is, could be very difficult too for those of us that are entrepreneurs. Most of you that are watching, listening to this are entrepreneurs, and most of you attached to the real estate space. And it's like, hey man, entrepreneurship is kind of like that. I look at it as like the last element of being a rebel that exists in the modern day era. It's like, okay, like we don't like having bosses. We don't like to being told what to do. We like choices. We like options. We like autonomy. We like that freedom. So then from there, when we think that, okay, we don't have a choice, we're like, well, that kind of is out of congruency with, every fiber of our being and becomes difficult. But the difference here is these are your choices based on the successes that you want to create. But again, where the choice comes into play is, okay, I'm either choosing that this thing over here is important to me, and I'm choosing to make that thing become like have success in that thing and make that success become a reality in that thing, or I'm choosing not to. Right? Again, that's very simple, cut and dry. Either I want to make this happen, I want to get shit done in this thing, make this thing a reality. It's either a yes or a no. That's where the choice comes in. But then from there, when you make up that decision, when you're fully committed to making that decision, you fully committed to making that thing a reality, then boom, from there are certain things in order to create that those successes into a reality that are just then non-negotiable. So here's some different examples, like when it comes to business, and I'll give a couple different examples here, one in business, one in health. But when it comes to business, one thing that I hear so many people struggling with, and this might be a thing that you are struggling with, again, if you're in business or if you're an entrepreneur, if you are in the real estate business, which again, I know most of you are, there's so many that don't go out there and track their data. However, I think that we can all agree and understand the importance of tracking our data. And I look at track data as being the first element of commitment to our overall success. If we want to go out there and have progress at any aspect of our life, the first element is we have to have a way to go out there, measure and track that progress. But then from there, when it comes to data, they're to the core of our businesses, the only way for us to go out there and replicate and duplicate, to continue to grow and scale, but then also make smart strategic decisions inside of our business is to have tracked, measured data inside of our business. So I know and understand the importance of this. I'm guessing that if you're watching or listening to this, you do as well, but there's probably very few of you that are watching or listening to this that actually do this, that actually track accurate data inside your business. So if you look at your business, okay, are you tracking every single lead per lead source, your cost per lead? So then you can calculate your cost per acquisition or amount of energy and effort that you're having to take per, lead if you're prospecting based, but then from there, not just number of leads per closings, but then from there, everything in between throughout that whole entire funnel, so how much also not just leads and cost per acquisition, but also how much effort. So how many reach outs, how many conversations, how many appointments set, how many appointment conductions, how many clients, how many closings, for those of you that are team leaders and broker owners, do you know the lifetime value of every agent inside your organization? Do you know how the amount of energy and effort that it takes to go out there and recruit them? Do you then know, and same thing, energy, effort, meaning number of leads, number of reach outs, number of conversations, number of appointments set, all of that to go out there and recruit those agents? Or do you know the amount of time on average from the second that agent signs with your organization until they're now contributing to average agent production inside your organization and contributing to company dollar? Okay, well, what's the average agent production? How long are they with you before they leave? For those that do leave, what's your retention rate? What's your churn rate? What does that look like? What's the lifetime value? All of these things, whether you're an agent working with buyers and sellers, or if you're a team leader that's doing those things as well as recruiting agents, or if you're out of production, just doing those things of recruiting agents, all of these things are very, very, very important. That's a lot of varies. All of these things are extremely important, when it comes to, again, going out there, not just replicating and duplicating our overall production, but then it's the only way that I can go out there and plan effectively. It's the only way I can identify and spot true areas of improvement. So not only by having a measured business can I replicate and duplicate my results, but then it allows me to go out there and scale, but then improve. So, okay, with that being said, and this isn't a video based on tracking, but it's just a video or a podcast of, okay, understanding that, okay, if I want to create success in business, and then I understand the importance of track data, and then I also know and understand that it is an impossibility for me to go out there and create a truly successful business, and one that's that also experiences long-lasting success. Because it's not just about obtaining success; it's about maintaining that success, as well. Once we go out there and create that success that we want to create. So if I know that is going to be an impossibility without me tracking my data, then from there, I then know that tracking my data is a non-negotiable, right? Because I've already made that choice and commitment to my success and my goals for my business. So then when it comes to that actual activity, I then remove that element of choice. It is a non-negotiable. Everything's going to be tracked in my business. This is not a topic up for discussion. This is, again, it's a non-negotiable. There is no choice in this. I'm going to do it because I want to go out there and create that level of success. Otherwise, if we are not in congruency with the actions and activities that must take place to make our goal a reality, then we're just being fucking delusional, right? Then we're just mentally masturbating. We're just being absolutely naive and delusional inside our own heads, so then from there, because I get asked all the time, things like, well, Josh, what do you do to make sure that your data is tracked on a daily basis? And I can get, tactical with that. I have other videos or other podcasts on that. The reason why I always say video, even though most of you listen to the audio, is because I'm recording the video and also scrape the audio from that. So I know most of you are listening to this via audio, but so I apologize about the misspeaking there. But anyway, with that being said, because I know the importance of it, it becomes a non-negotiable thing. So yeah, I can break down, okay, what I'm going to be tracking, what times a day I'm going to be tracking. Now, for me, it's the first thing that I do every single morning when I wake up. Like, okay, I get out of bed, maybe I go to the bathroom, whatever, and that's a little bit TMI, but then from there, bam, I sit in front of my computer. I go through my data from the day before, input. I mean, there's certain data that I need to input, and then there's certain data that my teammates and everybody else in my organization is inputting. So then not only do I do the, daily inputs of data that I need to input from the previous 24-hour period, but which, only takes a minute. But then from there, I'm able to go out there and review that data. First thing that I do every single morning. Now, I'm not saying it's got to be the first thing that you got to do. It doesn't matter if it's the first thing, last thing, or somewhere in between, but it just becomes a non-negotiable thing. So when I hear people that are like, oh man, I just struggle with this. Look, it's either they don't understand and they're being naive and delusional because they don't understand the importance of it, or they still think that they have a choice. And that still comes down to delusion, where it's like, okay, well, I can go out there and build this successful business and continue to grow and scale it, or if I want to maintain the level of success I've created in addition to growing and scaling, or just maintenance mode, it doesn't matter. All of those things are going to depreciate and going to unwind if we don't have that track data. So for me, again, it's a non-negotiable. There's no element of choice. Everybody inside my organization knows that. They get that. So everybody's data is due at this point, this time. If it's not due at this point and this time, we're going to have a very hardcore come to Jesus conversation. We're going to have one of those conversations. If it happens again, then I know it's a character flaw. It's not a lack of training or a lack of not knowing what to do or when to do it or how to do it. It's a character flaw, and it's something that I'm not going to tolerate inside my business because I understand the importance of that activity. Okay, now another example here. When it comes to health and fitness. So when it comes to my overall health, okay, like my meal prepping, my diet, my workouts, those things are non-negotiable activities. So it's like, okay, I'm going to eat these meals at these times, do this thing because I've committed to, here's what my health goals are going to be. I've committed to, okay, I'm going to be somebody that's intentional, not just with business, but intentional with my health as well. Because that's, again, something that's just very important to me. So then from there, now when I know and understand what then health means to me and what the protocols are that I need to follow to make those a reality. Again, those things become non-negotiable when it comes to me operating throughout the day. I got asked just the other day of like, when it comes to your mindset of health and fitness, like how do you operate your mindset? The question was something around like, hey, a lot of times when I'm doing this stuff, I feel like it's a chore. I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a chore for me too. It's not like I don't enjoy eating the same foods each and every single day, 7 days a week. I mean, maybe once in a while I have a cheat day, but that's like maybe once or twice a month, or a couple of cheat meals. I shouldn't say full cheat day, but that's very, very rare, very special situations, but it still falls within the parameters of hitting my health goals. Right. So then from there though, there's a lot of days where, okay, at the end of the day, I don't feel like training, or I don't feel like getting up early in the morning and going out there training. So it feels like a chore, but again, it's a non-negotiable thing. Just like I don't like tracking my data, just like I don't track in my numbers, but what the enjoyment factor is having the energy that I want to have, having, the overall health and body that I'm happy with, that I'm proud with or proud of to go out there. So again, that choice, the element of choice comes down to, do I want to make this thing a reality? Yes or no? Then once I'm like, okay, hey, I want to make this thing a reality. I know that. I know why I want it, what I want, why I want it, why it's important to me. Then from there, all the things I need to execute on to make that a reality, I just mentally remove the element of choice. So when it's sitting there, when I have to, meal prep and grill up my meat for the next couple of days, or because all those things are pains in the ass to do. I got a bazillion other things I'd rather do that be more convenient in the moment to go out there and do. But I remove that talk that happens in my head, because we all have it. There's a book out there called Take the Stairs, I think is the name of the book, by Rory Vaden. And it's just a self-discipline book. But he talks about in there, he's like, okay, that voice that's in your head that's taking place, he calls it Mr. M. So he's like, picture a doll sitting on your shoulder. And that doll's name is Mr. M. And the reason it's Mr. M or Mrs. M or Miss M, whatever you want to classify that as, but the reason why the name is Mr. M is for mediocrity, Mr. Mediocrity, because that's that voice trying to keep us small. That's the voice trying to keep us mediocre. That's that, voice of domestication through society, again, that doesn't want you to go out there and accomplish your goals, so that, because it's not you talking. And this is very important to understand. It is not you talking. If that inner voice in your head is you talking, well, who the hell is listening, right? You are the one listening. So then for me, when I have those non-negotiable activities that I know I must do, hey, I must get up every single day at this time, then I must do this thing, then I must do this thing, then I must do this thing. Well, then at that point, I'm able to quiet that damn chatter, and I'm able to tell that Mr. M or whatever that voice is to shut the fuck up, shut the hell up. I'm going to go out there and execute on this anyway. And I just tell myself, hey, I don't have a choice in this matter. This is non-negotiable. I'm going to do it anyway. Tell that voice to shut the hell up, and I just start taking action. So then from there, okay, how do we go out there and do this? And this is the exercise I learned from Tony Robbins years ago. And I redo this every single year when it comes to my overall business planning. So the first step is I set my overall goals that I want to go out there and create for my life. And I'm looking at all the different aspects of my life that are important to me, because I believe in creating a well-rounded life. I don't want to be one of those people that goes out there and crushes it in this aspect of my life, but then drops the ball in this aspect. And I'm not one that's going to say, oh, you can have it all. And I'm not one of those guys. It's like success doesn't come without sacrifice. I know that and I understand that. But at least for me, I know what matters most. I know what's most important to me. So then from there, I'm getting extreme clarity on what I want, why I want it, why it's important to me for each aspect of my life. So whether it be my business, whether it be my health, whether it be, you can go down your relationship paths, all of these different things. But again, I mean, that's all up to you. There's nobody that can determine what success is for you and for your life other than you. Who the hell am I or anybody else to tell you what success should be for your life? Only you can determine that. I find that to be really important, to make sure that your goals are your own goals. Don't go out there and waste your time adopting other people's goals. Don't go out there, because look, those aren't going to be something that really truly matters to us. And so many people exhaust and waste so much of their life going out there and chasing other goals that aren't their own. Maybe they go out there and they're accomplishing this career goals because that's what their parents wanted for them. Whatever. Well, dude, there's going to be some point in time where you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to regret those decisions. So at the end of the day, it's what are your goals? What matters to you, to the core, to you as a human being? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You're blink of an eye. We're going to leave this planet, and nobody's going to give two shits. Nobody's going to remember your name. Nobody's going to remember, and I know that might sound bad. But the reality is, you guys, is there's going to be some people that will miss us, but it's a small fraction, but after several, generations, like nobody's going to remember us, so then from there, again, what matters to you, what's most important to you. Something I heard at one point is like, okay, at the average funeral, there's 100 people that attend. So out of everybody, everybody you've ever met, okay, 100 people, actually bother to even show up. Then from there, on average, 6 of those 100 actually shed a tear. The other 94 don't even shed a tear at the average funeral. And I don't know who takes these stats. I read them at one point, so I don't know how accurate this is, but read it somewhere at some point. But it sounds pretty true and pretty accurate from my experience. So then from there, I'm like, okay, all these other people that didn't even bother to show up. Why am I caring about their opinions? Why am I living for them? Why am I trying to accomplish goals for them to show them what? They wouldn't even be bothered to show up to my funeral. Then from there, the other 94 that did show up, they didn't care enough about me or miss me enough or whatever to even shed a tear. So, okay, maybe for those 6 that do show up, that do shed a tear, that they're, very sad to see me go, whatever. Okay. Like those might be people in my inner circle that I'm going to make sure to live in a certain way or show up in a certain way or show up as the best version of myself to go out there and continue to impact and maybe inspire them and, whatever that may be. But again, the core of this story is to make sure that your goals are your own. So thinking about that, what matters most to you, and start asking yourself certain questions where, I want to make this goal reality. Okay, well then, okay, if you start going through and asking yourself certain questions, they're just, thought experiments to run through, things that I do. I'm like, okay, well, worst case scenario, if that doesn't happen, how is my life impacted? Like, does my life suck? Like, is it negatively impacted? Is it something that, I have that burning desire to go out there and do or create? Because again, I know I can't do all things. I can't go out there and accomplish everything that I've ever wanted to do. So I want to then shrink that down to, okay, what are the things that I must do while I exist on this planet? What are the things that, I can't do it all. So then what are those things that I must go out there and do? Just, like another, okay, we can't read all the books that exist out there. So what are the books I must read, right? So, getting that type of clarity. So again, once we got clarity on what we want, why it's important to us, and then what I recommend for each one of these things that you want to go out there and create. So let's just say you have your business goals. Okay, so these are the business goals that you want to create. Maybe you've got your 12-month goals, but then you got your 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, exit strategy goals, for that, which you should always have. Like, what's your long-term goals? Your 20, 30-year goals or whatever the exit strategy looks like. Okay, well then, where do you need to be at year 10? Where do you need to be at year 5? And then what do you need to be at maybe year 3, year 1 to make that a reality? And even though those longer-term goals can be kind of vague, I'm not saying that you got to have crystal clarity on all of those, because they will morph and change, but the decisions that we make today, the decisions that we make over the next 12 months, need to be leading us somewhere. So that could be like for real estate, like maybe you're like, okay, well, the next 12 months, I want to make X amount of money, which is going to require me to, me or my team to go out there and sell X amount of homes. But then maybe my 5-year goal is to be at X amount of income and X amount of, which would require X amount of home sales while being out of production. Like you can figure out what those steps are, but then you can start making more strategic decisions that align with those throughout the day. All right. So then from there, now that you know what those goals are, this is what I learned from Tony Robbins. So I call it your should versus must list. Or well, I think he calls it that. So I call it that, but I think I stole that from him. But this exercise I stole from him. Either way, whatever the terminology is. So then from there, okay, what are all the things that you should be doing to make that thing a reality? Okay, well, man, I should get up at this time. I should show up and do these activities each and every day consistently. Man, I should be building out I should be working on my systems. I should be blocking off an hour every single day to be working on, improving my processes and my systems. I should be tracking my numbers. I should be, I should have a very well organized CRM that I live and die by, and I should master that. Okay, I should master these things in my business. I should be doing this, whatever that may be. Now, if we flip this over to like health and fitness goals, maybe you're like, okay, dude, I should be working out 5 days a week. I should be eating better, or I should be, I should be drinking a gallon of water a day. Man, I should cut out all that sugar. I should cut out all this, things that you should be doing, things that you should not be doing, right? You're making this should list of all these things. So you got this big should list, right? Of all the things that you should be doing. So then from there, once I got my list complete, now these are the things that I know I should be doing or should not be doing, right? These aren't things, I'm not going by guesswork here. There's going to be some things that you may not know you need to be doing yet, or things that you know you need to be eliminating yet. But the things that, like, this is just a start, right? And as we learn more and as we grow more, and expand more and so forth, well, then from there, okay, well, we can keep refining this. Like I said, these are things that I'm always revisiting at least once a year at a minimum. I'm always revisiting, always going through this exercise. So then from there, I got all this list of all these things I should be doing or should not be doing. Then from there, I just cross out that should and I replace it with must. Right. So now these are the things I must do, or these are the things I must not do. So certain goals, again, thinking about this of not just the things I should be doing, but also the things I should not be doing. Like, I got to a point in time where I'm like, dude, I really should not be drinking. I'm not saying that you guys need to stop drinking, or if you're watching this or listening to this, that you need to stop drinking. But for me, it was problematic. I couldn't control it. If I had one, I was going to have 12. And I needed to get control of that. I knew it was leading to a destructive path. So okay, that became a should not be doing thing. Well, then when I flipped that should into a must list, now this must list is my non-negotiable things. So then I knew that, okay, hey, if I want to go out there and create all these other goals becoming a reality, and this is what's truly important to me, and I'm truly going to commit to it, then all these things that were on my should list, that are on my must list, are now non-negotiable activities and non-negotiable things that I need to do, I need to start doing, I need to commit to, and I need to eliminate that element of choice. And some of these things are difficult. Like, I'm not saying that all of a sudden, just one day, boom, I just snapped my fingers and cured myself of my substance addiction problems, my problems with alcohol. It was a little bit of a journey. As soon as I made up my mind, I stopped, but it was a journey, it was a battle, it was a bitch, so it took time. Now today, it's been about over 2 years now since I've had a single sip. I don't crave it. I haven't craved it in a couple of years now, it eventually it got easy. Like today now, it is not a chore I shouldn't say. I mean, there's some days I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go track my numbers. But it's not a thing where I'm like, oh God, it's just a thing. It's just another thing that I got to do. It's just like doing laundry or what. It's just like another damn thing that I know I have to do that, I can't operate in life without this thing. Eventually it just becomes routine. It just becomes you're just executing, on these things. But this is where it begins. So you identify, okay, what are all those things you should be doing in your life to achieve the goals that you want to go out there and achieve? And then again, take that should, scratch that out. Now this becomes your write out must on the top of that. So this becomes your non-negotiable must list, where then now you've eliminated that element of choice. So there is no, because the problem with should, I should be doing this, is that's where we are still operating from that delusional state where we think we have a choice. No, like you either want to make your goals a reality or you don't. So these are the things that you should be doing to make that a reality. Well, instead of knowing you should be doing, okay, these are the things I'm committed to be doing that I must do, that now I'm eliminating that element of choice. And I'm going to do these regardless whether I want to do them, not want to do them, whether they're a bitch, whether they're easy, whether they suck, whether they're pleasurable. I'm going to do these things each and every day and build it part of my routine. Well, and I say every day, some of these don't need to be done every day, but you get what I'm saying. So this is the exercise and the overall path and journey that I follow to go out there and eliminate, again, remove that element of choice, because we can't be delusional. Again, we either want to create the success or we don't. That's where the choice comes in. I'm either committed to making this thing a reality or I'm not. Like, I know for me to operate in the level of health with the health goals that I have, because my health goals, part of this is for longevity. Part of this is for energy, but then there's a part of it that's also for aesthetics. I want to have my health operate a certain way, my body look a certain way. So part of it is, for my own personal mental well-being, it makes me feel good about myself and brings self-confidence, but then of course I also have longevity and energy management. All those things are important to me. So it's kind of really threefold. So then I put those pieces together. Okay, here's all the things I know I should be doing to make that a reality. So either I'm committed to it or I'm not. I know for a fact I can't go out there and accomplish my health goals, if I'm stuffing my face with a bunch of sweets, if I'm eating, a bunch of sugars, if I'm doing, and that might be what I want to do in the moment. But again, when I started having, I was like, okay, this past weekend, my daughter wanted, so I made for my wife, my daughter, I made them waffles. Okay, well, I didn't partake in that. I made them those waffles. Look at those waffles. Like, I love waffles. I love pancakes. I love freaking syrup. Love to douse that shit in syrup. Like, I love that shit. I wanted that really bad. And I'm sitting there making them, and I'm wanting that, but I'm like, nope. Can't do it. It's not a choice. I eliminate the element of choice. I'm going to have my 6 eggs and my avocado. Right? That was my breakfast. That's my breakfast every single morning, whether I want it or not. That's what I eat every single morning for breakfast. All right. So anyway, hope that you guys found this helpful. And as always, make sure that you're checking out gsdmode.com. If you enjoy these tips, there's more additional free resources. Free trainings on there, free resources, free disc assessments, my free ebook, free online trainings on there. Plus, you can learn more about my coaching and mentorship program. You can learn more about Perfect Storm, my software program for real estate professionals. So check out gsdmode.com. All right, keep crushing it, keep kicking ass, and I will see you soon. Peace.